Dear partners and colleagues, welcome to this third instruction out of a series of 5 in which we share the basics of the CCV store with you. The first video was a quick introduction. The next, we created our first terminal and had a brief look at the distribution of apps. This instruction focuses on app version management. Before we start, I want to make it very clear that whatever you do, you should never remove the PayGear application from a terminal. As soon as you do so, the terminal will lose its keys and you must send it back to CCV to have them reloaded. That said, what are we going to cover in this video? First, we show once more how to make an app available to a sub-reseller. Then we actively push an app to a terminal and to a batch of terminals. We continue by moving a terminal from one reseller to another, and finally we remotely delete an app from a terminal. Let me first refresh your memory by showing once more how to make an app available to a specific sub-reseller. In the store we go to the app list menu and select the PayStart app. We look at the app distribution and notice that the app is unavailable to all sub-resellers. We quickly correct that by clicking the green button and making the app available to our corresponding sub-reseller, PayStart. Next, we select the Service app and again we notice that the Service app too is unavailable to all sub-resellers. In contrast to the PayStart app, we make the Service app available to all our sub-resellers. Making an app available to one or more sub-resellers ensures that all underlying terminals are getting the app available in their CCV store clients. It's up to the end user to decide whether to install it. The same principles are applicable to different versions of the same app. But what if you want to actively push an app to a terminal? That's our next topic. We go back to our first created terminal and have a look at the App and Firmware tab. If we look closely, we notice that for some reason the Service app is missing. To correct this, we press the green button to push an app. We select the Service app and leave the options as they are. Without further ado, we push the Service app to the terminal and check the result. It's also possible to push an app to a group of terminals. We go to the Group Management menu to see how that's done. There are basically two types of groups, general and dynamic. A general group is a batch of manually selected terminals of the same make and model, within one and the same sub-reseller. Defining such a group of terminals is useful, for example, if you want to perform one or more actions to a very specific set of terminals. A dynamic group, unlike a general group, involves all terminals of the same make and model within one and the same reseller, possibly including sub-resellers. Let's create our first group of terminals. We select General Group and give it a name. We select the manufacturer and model to which this group refers. Then we indicate which reseller it concerns. We skip the description for now, but activate the group and click OK. Now that we have created a group, we can add terminals to this group under the tab Terminal List, and we do that manually, so to speak, by selecting them from the list. In this case, we only select one, but it could have been many more. So now we have created our first group of terminals and we are able to create a push task for it. Next, we go to the tab for push tasks, choose Push App. We press the green button again and select the Service app. A push task for our group has been created. We activate it and watch the task pushing the Service app for our first general group of terminals. Now, depending on the size of our group, We may not see the immediate end result from our push task, but when finished, there will be statistics for analysis. Unlike for the general group, we do not need to manually add terminals to a dynamic group. A dynamic group is always synchronized with the reseller and the sub-resellers for which the group was created. The steps for creating push tasks for dynamic groups are basically the same, and so we will not elaborate on it. Now it's time to move a terminal from one sub-reseller to another. In our case, we move our first created terminal from the sub-reseller PayStart to the sub-reseller SalesPoint. We go to our terminal dashboard and in the upper right corner we choose Move from the drop-down menu. We choose the sub-reseller SalesPoint, and since our merchant names are the same for both sub-resellers, we leave it as it is. We click OK and check the result. Now we have a terminal with the PayStart app that is part of the SalesPoint sub-reseller, so we need to fix this. So let's have a look at how to push uninstall app to a group of terminals, since our terminal still has the PayStart app running on it. To uninstall the PayStart app from all terminals in the sub-reseller SalesPoint, we need the package and version number of the app we would like to uninstall. We go to the app list menu, we select the PayStart app and copy its package number displayed under the title of the app, and we copy its version number. Back at Group Management, we create a dynamic group for our SalesPoint sub-reseller. Next, we create a push task for uninstalling the PayStart app by filling in the correct package and version number. We confirm with our password. Your homework will be to simulate the same scenario within your own environment and try to use a dynamic group to always keep your sub-resellers up to date with the apps that you intended for it. As in our case, we only want the terminals running the SalesPoint app in our sub-reseller SalesPoint. I hope this video was helpful to you. Make sure you check out our other CCV Store tutorials and feel free to share these with your colleagues. If you still have any technical questions while using the store, please do not hesitate to send us an email. That was it for now. Thanks again for watching.